Hello, this is Gene. Something different today. A little cold this morning in Alabama, but it's going to be close to 80 degrees today. And I just need some help here. Um, the last couple days in Israel, things have been happening, and I don't trust the mainstream media here in the United States. I don't know who I can actually believe when it comes to who has the high ground when it comes between Palestine or Israel. In this country, if you somewhat criticize Israel, then you're like anti-Semitic, and you've already seen it on Twitter now. All these people on the mainstream media, all these, for lack of a better word, a lot of Jews in the media are saying that we have the list of those people who are not be supportive to Israel. That this is clearly good versus evil, and if you don't back the good side, and in this case they believe it's Israel, that um, they're gonna have this list, I guess, and come find you. I guess um, I've never been a fan. Now I've been back and forth when it comes to Israel. Clearly, I think they should be able to have their own country. They should be able to defend their country. But I also think the Palestine should have their own state. I don't understand why these people can't get together and have a two-state solution. Um, uh-oh, I don't know what that was. I guess they just started up. I guess it's that time in the morning, so that might be the volunteer fire department down the road from me. So I know there's a lot of Muslim fans of Manchester United. Some of them probably have watched some of my videos. I would like to get their viewpoint of this. I'm just going to say from a 30,000 viewpoint, just looking at the top, I know there's always been issues there. I know that the Palestinians say that the Israelis are settlers. I understand that part of it. Um, I don't, this idea that is everybody in Palestine, do they all support Hamas, or what they consider in the West, they consider it a terrorist group? Um, is it really terrorism when it's your own people? I don't necessarily would say the Taliban and Al Qaeda. Um, some of their actions are certainly terroristic, but is it any difference than what Israel does or what we as the United States have done before? It's like who decides is right and who's wrong in this. I don't think there is a right or wrong. Clearly, going into somebody's house, according to the reports that we have in this country, go house to house and then killing Israeli citizens is frowned upon, and whoever did that should die. They should do it. I don't care if they're with Hezbollah or Hamas or whoever. That's not what you do. If you want to change opinion about what you want, you don't kill civilians. And of course, Israel responds by doing the same thing. So it's one of those weird things. Is Hamas? Do they control all of these Palestinians there, and there's nothing that these people can do because everybody's on top of each other there and they can't get out? I hear stories that they can't get out. They can't leave through the seaway. They can't. They have to. If they can go, they have to go where it's all controlled to get away from Palestine. Um, I'm assuming you can get into Palestine if you're a tourist. I don't know these things that I don't know because they're not going to tell me in the United States. They're not going to tell me what's really going on because uh, the Jews, the media, is run by these people. So you'll never get both sides. You'll have some people might come out and right away they're considered anti-Semitic, and I just don't understand that term either. Dr. Jordan Peterson said it yesterday. Called Hamas anti-Semitic rats, and I'm like, I'm just lost there because aren't Palestinians Semites? I just this guy has a 160 IQ. Whatever. It's really it's crazy to me. And I know Europe. We've had two world wars, and these are people are very closely related through DNA. But it's even closer in that part of the world. And yes, I know it's been going on for thousands of years. And the question is, all stemming away from religion, that one believes this and one believes the other, even though they're all believe in one God. Is it all that, or is it the fact of the Israel now is the oppressor instead of being the oppressed that they've always said they've been the last 2,000 years, that they've always been the oppressed people, they've been the victims of everything, and now they're doing it to somebody else, and this is how. I mean, I don't think I'm going to get any uh, nuanced or unbiased opinion here in the West. I mean, I watch RT, and they're also kind of in the back pocket of Israel. There's nothing in the West that you can get. Even the conservatives are just, they're both sides are just, they're clearly behind Israel, and that gives me pause because that doesn't sound right to me. I don't this what I know is that Israel is supposed to have the greatest intel agencies in the world. They didn't know this was happening. Personally, from my conspiratorial side, I think that they wanted something to happen. There have been, I've heard talks before that they've wanted to basically take over Gaza for a long time because they need more room for their own people. There's 8 million people living in Israel right now, and they want to get closer to the sea, probably. So it wouldn't shock me. I mean, if it could be right now while I'm talking to you, they might have already carpet bombing all of Gaza right now, because they gave them all like 24 hours to get out before they start killing everybody because, or laying down bombs because apparently all the terrorists are all basically the residents. It's interesting. I was watching something yesterday that says that Palestine's got like 1 million people in their army. And I'm like, out of 5 million people, so you got 20% of their population is considered in their army. I'm like, okay. Are you just basically saying every dude under 25 years is their army? And that might be true. I mean, you see all the different P researches and all that stuff, and it says, what would you do if you had a terrorist or somebody that was in a mosque? Would you cover for them? And the Muslim world, a lot of people apparently do that. I'm not saying that they're 100% behind what they're fighting for, but they take care of their own. And can we really be? I don't understand. I can't really be that upset about it. But you can't. The images that we see in the West is them paragliding into a rave somewhere and start killing people, killing women. That you're never going to get the world to be on your side. I don't understand that part of it. I guess that could be considered terrorism because you're going to put the fear of this on people. I'm sure that we give you guys, I'm sure Palestine gets money. They get a lot of foreign aid. But I mean, just from what I see right now, I think that clearly it's an apartheid state. I think that Israel has a lot to change when it comes to that. But the question is, will there ever be a chance for peace? Will a two-state solution be enough for Palestine? I mean, would it be? I think that both sets of people, you can say in Israel they have a full an actual fuller government, I guess you'd say, but I don't trust their government. Their government would definitely go to war with Iran. They'll want us to get us involved with it as well, and use our people to die first than them, and that's what they're trying to do now. But who is controlling the Palestinians? Is it Hamas? Is it terrorist groups? Is it their own sort of government that is controlled by them? And it's very, very difficult to find out what's really going on. I obviously have to condemn any of this crap that's happened on both sides, but if it's true that Hamas started this, and then they're going house to house and killing civilians, and then they're paragliding into a rave somewhere and killing Americans, you got to believe that we're going to respond. I mean, this is probably one war that we might actually win. I mean, you're all right there. It's not like you're going to go anywhere. And it sounds like there's another 5 million that might have to go in Europe to be displaced there. And the question is that, as somebody that looks at Europe and says that it's been demographically changed, with a lot of the Muslims that come from different countries and people from Africa that are going there, and it's just uh, change everything when it comes. Europe will no longer be there. It'll be something totally different, and I have a problem with that because that's my people, and I don't like that. I think that each area, each culture should be saved and cherished. Um, so I don't want that to happen. So, and then we have a lot of people that are marching in the streets in the West, in England, here in the United States, with the Palestinian flag. A lot of people on the left, especially with the colleges, they've had this whole thing about free Palestine, and I have no issue with that really, but that means I just think that people are gonna, if you're there walking in those protests, I think you're gonna be on someone's list. Um, and I guess years ago I talked about this, that whole the BDS, the thing about basically supposed to be anti-Israel. That was the first thing that you couldn't say anti-Semitic things, and now it's become law in Florida. And it's like you can't say certain things against Israel, even though it's the United States. And right away, we just gave Israel $8 billion, even though they have the largest military in the area, can clearly wipe out Palestine if they wanted to. But we have to give them another $8 million, and we can't even fund our own border wall, and we give them more and more money so they can fund their own border wall. And it's one of those weird things. It's like, are we just involved because it's a religious thing too? Or, as we all know, that they pretty much run this country anyway. When you look at our Congress, it's way overinflated with Jewish people who have two passports. They have a British or a Jewish Israeli passport, and they also have a United States passport. And that's none of those laws that came up and said you can't question their loyalty to the United States. I can, because I know who their first loyalty is. If they're a Jew in the United States, it's to Israel. It's not to the United States. I'm sorry, it's just not. And you see they're all coming out now. We're going to put you on this list. You're going to do that. You're going to do that. And of course, they compared everything that Hamas did to the Nazis. Because the Nazis were clearly the worst of all time. No other group of people had the same type of depravity that the Nazis had. I mean, they can't even look inside themselves and see what they've done over the last 100 years, and what they did in Russia. And these aren't great people. I don't have an affinity for them. I don't have an affinity for the Palestinians. But I just want to understand what's going on with. And I want, until we put, my fear is they're going to put our young people there in harm's way. And also you got Iran there. It just, is this the end times? I mean, do you think this is Revelation playing itself out? You'd have to have an antichrist, and I just don't think anybody on the world stage can actually be that. If Revelation is supposed to be true, if we're going to have this conflict, you still have to have an antichrist. So I don't think anybody in the world could be that. Can't be Trump. He's too old. He's too polarizing. There's nobody in the United States that could admit that. Somebody's got to come out of the background to become this leader that everybody can just, oh my God, we have to have peace everywhere. It ain't going to be Biden. So it ain't going to be Kamala. It could be Newsom. Newsom kind of looks like somebody could be an antichrist. But anyway, it's wrong, right? On both sides. You shouldn't be doing it. And if somebody comes on these congressmen that I don't like, the squad, all those radical leftists, when they come out and don't right away condemn what Hamas does, but says that there's a reason why we're doing this, that they're doing on the other side, that there needs to be a peaceful solution, it should not be met with, oh my God, these people are anti-Semitic. That's not going to change anything. Calling people anti-Semitic is not going to fix what's going there in Israel. My daughter was just there 2 weeks ago, or 2 months ago. Her girlfriend is Israel, I guess, or Israeli, I guess. and they're going to be married and all that great shit. But anyway, yeah, it's all right there in my family. It's not like I don't really want it to be, but she wants to be with somebody she loves, you know. But this, she also had her girlfriend is basically a Zionist. I don't even want to know what she's thinking today. I don't. I'm sure she's very very upset. I just thank God she wasn't there when this happened. She could have been going at the same time that this shit was going on. Those girls and those influencers and all these people that went there to that rave. Can you imagine them people paragliding in there and you're just looking around, oh, this is part of this show, and they come down and they take the women, start rape them and beat the shit out of them. Now, I've only seen several images. I don't know how far this goes, but that's if you believe in Allah, you believe in the Quran, why would you do such things? It's just it's not going to get it's going to get you wiped off the end of the face of the earth. It's going to. And my dog is coughing, so I'm going to stop there. Just let me know in the comments below what you know. People from that area, if you happen to see this, please let me know. I've watched a couple guys on TikTok that are there. I try to listen to them, but you know they're all you know their own part of their ideology. They believe that Israel are a bunch of all the Israelis are like pigs, and you see these things on TikTok where or in social media that they're just yelling at each other from both sides. And one people calls them subhuman, the other calls them a pig. Someone this is that, and this is what's going to happen to you. And it's like these are all young men just talking to each other, and I'm like, and you're looking at them, and I'm like, I would never be able to tell the difference. Ethnic Jews against the Palestine, if they didn't have anything on, and they're just walking around, I would not be able to tell the difference. You guys are fucking, you know, you're right, really close, DNA wise. I mean, really, 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 really close. Like you're brothers. Something has to change. But anyway, please give me your assessment of what's going on. I'll listen to both sides. Like I said, I've gone back and forth when it comes to the Jews, and a lot of it is because it was forced down my throat when I was young. I didn't know about it. There was a whole lot of indoctrination when I was like 12, 13 years old. We didn't know about the Holocaust until the late 70s in this country. And then all of a sudden it became an industry and all this stuff. And now we know more and more about it, that a lot of it's overblown, let's put it that way. Can't talk about that either. So I always have an issue when there's something you can't talk about. Then you have to think there's something more behind it. And we all understand who actually runs the media in the United States. So it's hard to get the real information, other than to say that what happened was clearly wrong. You don't just go out and kill people just because, whether it's ideology or religion or you're being oppressed. You have to find a better solution. We're not just primitive people anymore. It's time to move on from that. And this peace is a little bit more enforceable than, you know, this high thing that, oh, we can't have any appeasement. What does that mean? And it all goes back to Hitler. I'm like, all the time it goes back to Hitler. Yeah, it's because Hitler actually had friends that were Muslims, I guess. I don't know. Or he the one who put a lot of Jews going bound to Palestine in the 30s. I guess you could. It must be all his. But just let me know. I'm sure there's probably one or two people on here. If this thing can go out and get a couple hundred people to see it, somebody might have an opinion on this. I'm sure it'll be really quick. You know, it depends on what I put in my headline. People are just going to say I'm anti-Semitic by just asking the question. I just want to know, because I'm not there. I'm in Alabama. You know, I'm thinking, everybody, and I've been hearing things on all this stuff too, that they're gonna come down, they're gonna come around the southern border, and they're gonna do shit here. I said, you're gonna go house to house? Well, then come to Alabama. Then your whole movement will be gone. So, you know, we have guns here. So, do I think that they won't do something here? They might. They might do something. Yeah, of course, they might do something like take down something, but. This is not. You can't just go across the street and you're in Israel. This is the United States. It's 3,000 miles wide. So, anyway, I'm not going to go down there. I just want to know, as much as you can, just explain if you're there in that area or you understand the actual conflict, not just boilerplate that comes from the media in the West, because we can't trust it. Why should I all of a sudden now trust these intel experts in this country when they lied about all the stuff about Trump? Why would I listen to them now about what's going on with Israel, and I should just 100% believe what they believe. This is all ideologically, and we're always going to say we have to defend Israel for some reason. All right, let me stop this, and we'll talk about it in the comments. And you guys have a good day.